Hey everyone, this is Cal from Decal Play, and in this video I'm going to go over a couple tips on how to record gameplay for YouTube videos. This video is going to be split up into 3 sections. First, we're going to talk about software needed to record. Second, we're going to talk about software needed for editing. And then third, we're going to talk about hardware for recording. There are 3 video recording softwares that I'm going to briefly go over today. I'm going to go over Bandicam, Fraps, and DxTory. First, I'm going to talk about Bandicam. Bandicam has a very low file size. In my opinion, it's the best file size to quality ratio. Even if it doesn't have the best quality or the best file size, I feel like it has a good balance. It's very easy to use. You just turn it on, press F12 or F11 or whatever you set it to, and it'll start recording. There's a little FPS counter. It's really simple to use. That's really all there is to it. This is the one I prefer to use for all of our videos. But that is not to say that you can't use Fraps or DxTory. Fraps actually has like huge file size. There are comparisons on YouTube everywhere. You can find them where someone will use Bandicam, the video will be like 500 megs, and then they use Fraps for the same exact video, and it's 5 gigs. I mean, there is a reason for that. Fraps has great quality video, but it's not worth it to me. I should mention that Fraps is apparently better at frame rate than Bandicam, but still, once again, it's just very minimal, and I don't really have any problems with my system running Bandicam with frame rate, so it's preference on that. And DxTory, I actually have never used it, but I actually was looking it up today, and I might have to check it out. It has very good video quality, very good frame rate, and decent file size. Less than Fraps, but higher than Bandicam. So I would give it a shot. I would check it out, but just from my personal experience, I will be probably using Bandicam for a while, unless DxTory is just really good. Next, we're going to talk about editing softwares. There are, once again, a ton of softwares you can use to edit your videos, and I'm only going to briefly go over just 2. I don't want to make it too complicated. I don't want to make this video way too long and go over every little detail of every little video software. I use Vegas, Sony Vegas Pro. That is what I prefer, and I think it has a very wide range of effects, and you can edit pretty much any way that you could possibly want to edit a gameplay video. I've used Adobe Premiere. I didn't quite like it. You also have to render your Adobe Premiere videos before you can preview it. Vegas lets you preview your video right away. It makes things a lot faster. You can edit, preview, change it, preview again. That's very useful. So overall, it's very easy to use. It has enough effects and editing capabilities for any gameplay videos that you're going to need to make. But there are 2 kind of issues with it. It does not take and edit .avi files. If you use Bandicam, Bandicam exports to AVI, and you're going to have to convert that from AVI to MP4, and then you can use Sony. A little bit of an issue, kind of ridiculous, small issue, but it's like, why can't they fix that? I don't know. And there are a couple little bugs with Vegas. For instance, the one that I've had trouble with was you can't compile using your GPU. You can only use your CPU, so if you don't know how to fix that issue, it can be annoying. But it's actually really easy to fix if you know how. There's a video out that helped me fix it. Very easy to fix. Next, I'm going to talk about VideoPad Video Editor. It's very on the opposite spectrum of Vegas, but it might be good for some people. It's very lightweight, very simple to use. There's not much editing you can do with it. It's just for cutting and putting stuff together. You can put text on things. You can edit the sounds a little bit, but it's really lightweight. And the biggest thing is that it's free. You don't have to worry about paying for this software. there's a lot of other video editing softwares. I'm actually going to put a link just to a list of a couple that I didn't talk about, but some that you might be interested in are Adobe Premiere, which I mentioned earlier. There's Final Cut Pro, which is for Macs only. That's pretty much anyone with a Mac would want to use that one, I would assume. And I don't have a Mac, so I don't use it. And then there's always Windows Movie Maker, which is actually not terrible if you just want something to cut up your video, put text on it, and I mean maybe put music over your video. And it's free, but it only comes with Windows 7 and I think with Vista maybe XP. But once you get to Windows 8, you actually have to do some workarounds to get it, so kind of an issue. So overall, out of these, I would recommend Vegas for anyone who is getting a little more serious, really wants to do video editing and have all the effects, and is really into it. And VideoPad Video Editor for anyone who just wants a free software that's easy, quick to use. And last, I want to talk to you guys about hardware you're going to need to record gameplay as well as play your games. The three types of hardware I'm going to go into are webcams, your computer specs, and mics. First of all, this is for some people, not for all, webcams. I would recommend anything Logitech. That's really all it comes down to. Anything Logitech is going to be up there, and you can search basically just Logitech webcam, and as long as it's 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080p with 30 FPS, you're set. It's going to be good. You can get those for about $80, and if you go cheaper, like 50. And I mean, webcams, you can use it for anything, so Logitech. Right now I'm not using a Logitech because I never use webcams. This is not a good example of a quality webcam. This is just the only one I have. I don't ever use it. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about computer specs that you're going to need to not only run the game, but record and run a game at the same time. The main things that you're going to really need to pay attention to are your GPU and your CPU. Of course, you're going to need to have the right kind of RAM, cooling system, hard drive. I mean, I don't know. You're going to need everything to be okay. But mainly, you're just going to want a nice GPU and a nice CPU, computer processing unit, or central processing unit, and graphics processing unit. I will just say what I'm running, and pretty much anything that and better will be good. I just have a quad-core AMD. I think it's a Phenom, which is actually pretty old, and it's not that great, but it does everything that I need it to do. I can record full, HD quality and play games with medium range settings. And my graphics card is a GTX 460, still pretty good. It's outdated, but it definitely works. So pretty much anything from that period and on will be fine for you. And I almost forgot, you will need at least a 2 terabyte hard drive if you're really going to be recording a lot of videos. Like I said, Fraps, if you're using Fraps, it's going to kill your hard drive space. You're going to not have any left if you don't have at least 2 terabytes. If you have Bandicam, you can get away with 1 terabyte. Just make sure you have enough space for this, and if it comes down to it, you can always get an external hard drive, which is what I've done, and I record everything, save it to my desktop, and then just move it over to the external once I'm finished with it, and then I can save all my videos and not have to worry about my desktop being completely overflowing with files. And last on the list, but definitely not least, I'm going to talk about mics. The mic that I'm using is actually not optimal, but it's nice. It's a condenser mic, which is actually the opposite of what I would have liked to have gotten, but I use it for music, so I've just ended up kind of converting it over to using it for videos. I have an SM58 omnidirectional dynamic mic, and I'm also using, I can show you, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there, and I have it on a mic stand, which you'll definitely want to get if you don't have one. Makes things a lot easier. I'm using it right now for this video, so sorry if it's making noise when I'm moving it. And I have a pop filter, which is absolutely it's very important when you are looking for clarity. Here's a test if you want to hear. Without the pop filter, pop, 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 pop. And then with the pop filter, it's pop, 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 pop. So it really reduces the annoying popping sounds that you would get without it. And you can see I can also have it farther away, and I'm talking just outward, and it's omnidirectional, so as long as I'm in the area within the mic, it will pick me up. But that being said, I don't recommend it for videos, for recording gameplay. I would actually recommend a condenser mic. Condensers, not just a condenser, a unidirectional condenser, one that you can face towards yourself, and it'll only capture you. That way, if you're next to someone, or there's a loud room, or there's, you're gaming with 3 other people, you can each have it facing you only, and you won't, it won't ruin your audio. You won't be picking everyone up or everything else up. The downsides to having a condenser are that they are much more delicate and much more expensive. So it really comes down to preference. And headsets are okay, but they're usually loud and omnidirectional, and they pick up everything that you don't really want to pick up. With my mic, it does do that if I want it to, but I have a mixer that I can turn down the input so that it only hears me like if I'm right here, so I can play games like this and it won't hear all the clicking, or like you can probably hear that right now from my keyboard. I can make it so where it only hears within a range around this far, which is really nice and useful. Alright, so thanks everyone for watching this very quick overview of everything you're going to need to record your gameplay. I hope it helped at all. I was trying to be very brief and quick about everything, so I hope I got to everything I needed to get to, and if you have any questions at all, just let me know, and I'll get back to you. Thanks.
Bum bum